So you know what these are. These are your audio tracks. Right now, by default, you have two is MIDI, two is audio.
Mhm.
To switch between this, the tab shortcut is the simplest way. You know that one?
Okay, thank you. No, I needed to remember that. I was like, I don't like the way that looks. Okay, so it was tab. That
Yeah,
was it. And
yeah. So if you click that tab, this is your arrangement view. And then if you hit tab again, session view.
Mhm.
And this is mostly for live performance. I never use it, but it's really cool. I've used it a little bit, but and it has some cool features. You can like put loops into these things. Let's see if you have any loops. I'll just show you. Maybe something in groups. So you doesn't look like you have any sample packs.
Mhm.
So I can get you some of those. But right now I'm putting a groove into the MIDI track, and that won't do anything until we add a sound. So I'm just gonna put like a random mallet in there for now. Then we can press play and it'll play sound. Yeah, so you hear that?
Mhm.
Pretty simple. The only advantage of using like session view over arrangement view is you can sometimes come up with cool patterns. So if I was to like take another groove and put it in this, and then do like like a drum, and then we can play all of these together, right? So that
Mhm.
makes sense. But I never really use this view. I pretty much always use, especially when I'm producing, pretty much
Mhm.
always use this arrangement view.
Me too. At
So
least for vocals. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and especially if you're tracking vocals. So over here, so also Ableton's nice because it has like the description in the bottom left. So if you ever are confused about what something does, it literally has like a description. Do you see that?
Yeah. Link on and off.
Yeah. I don't even know what this is, honestly. I maybe should, but never used it. So, but there it tells you. Toggle to turn link on and off. When it's enabled, the button will update to show how many other link enabled devices are connected. So I'm assuming that they're talking about like peripheral devices like a MPE or like a MIDI controller.
Mhm.
Yeah. Tap for tapping your BPM. So let's say that you had like a track here and you wanted to just see what the BPM is at, you can tap to kind of do it by ear. Or if you know, you can just set it to whatever BPM you want. I never use this, never use that.
I've
Metronome
used it. Mhm.
or time signature. This is your, I always do 4/4. Most modern songs are in 4/4. If you want to be different, you could do like 3/4 or like 2/4, but I would keep that like that. Metronome, all your different sounds. Count in is for recording. This is super helpful if you're recording vocals. So
Mhm.
let's say you have an instrumental and you just want a count in, like one bar. So
Mhm.
let's say it starts like right here. It's going to count in before you start recording. So it just gives you time to prepare, right?
Hmm.
This is for tracking your cursor. If you have a project that's longer, I usually I will toggle it on and off. Then we got your play, stop, record. This is an automation thing, or no, MIDI arrangement overdub. So what this does, if you're playing on a piano and then you play notes over it again, instead of overriding that, it will add on to it. Does that make sense? It's kind of hard to explain without showing you.
Okay. It doesn't right now.
Yeah, I can show you later. I don't really ever use it. Do you have like a piano or like a MIDI controller?
I do
Okay.
have this guy.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. So, yeah, amazing.
Yeah. Shall I use it today?
Sure.
Different time. I actually don't even know how to start it, but that would be cool. Already getting a lot out of this now. Okay. Plugged in.
Sweet. So now I need you to, well, try playing a note and see if it automatically detected. Okay, it did. Amazing.
It did?
Yeah. So I'm gonna,
How do you know?
so I know because I see these little, you see that there's like a yellow meter bouncing up and down. That's how I can tell. So what instrument do you want? Let's just do a piano.
Yeah.
And if you just start playing, it should play. There you go.
So how did it
Amazing.
on that we could hear? Oh, you had to click like a type of sound that it's coming through,
Yeah.
right?
So to explain this, basically what we had, ooh, was that Beethoven?
Yes, it was. It sure was. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to add a MIDI track,
Mhm.
this is how you're going to create tracks that you're going to play into with your piano. The shortcut is Command Shift T, or there's you can right click on your computer, insert MIDI track. But a MIDI track by itself will not play any sound. So
Mhm.
you have to drag an instrument. And there's a bunch of instruments to choose from it that are
Mhm.
that are native to Ableton.
Okay.
But as we get further, we can start to install plugins that I have and I can give to you for free. So, but just to get started, we'll have this e-piano. And let's just record in some sounds. So I'm going to press record and then just play around a little bit. Nice. So there you go. Whoops, there's your track. And we can play that back. What do you think?
Cool. Very cool. Already making like it's already kind of yeah. I'm just thinking about how I'm gonna implement that or how that helps. I think on my buttons on my MIDI, if I have like an octave up and down, so
Yeah.
I can try from my MIDI, and like if I want to scale an octave up, or is that something I do on? that when they're talking to each other, like when they're connected. Because this is only
Um,
this.
Wait, so what's your question? The octave up and down?
Yeah, like if I want to go an octave up or down, is that usually like say if you're recording or you're like making some music and you're like, oh, I want this in another octave. Um, do people do that through Ableton or do they rely on their MIDI?
You can do both. So
The easiest or like the most user friendly.
it kind of depends, but if you are playing a song and you really need to go up an octave, I would just click the octave up button. But if you know what you want ahead of time
Mhm.
before you're playing, you can take all of this and just do a shift up and it goes up an octave. Or the opposite, shift down.
I could essentially harmonize by, okay, say, like, could you show me an example if you wanted to take this whole thing and harmonize with itself, like by changing the octaves, which I know is not like a complete harmony, but like, would you just do a new line, like a new MIDI line, and then copy and paste that, and then just have it shift up or down to play? If that's like, is that
Yes.
the right?
So it kind of depends. It's like if you want to use the same instrument and just add notes on top, then you can do that, right? Like I could just copy all these and take all of them. I did option to copy all of them, hold down option and drag them up. This is probably not going to sound great, but so, and this is going back to what I was explaining up here, is that if you wanted to record in again, you could just record and then start playing. So you could play your piano, it's recording right now. But what that did was it just deleted what you just created,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm going to undo that and say that you didn't want it to delete what you just created. You click this button and now we record. And if you play your piano, it will allow you to just add onto it.
Cool. Okay. And then that for organizing, I can just think of it as like this one line is my piano line, and I can
Yeah.
play on top. So if I hit plus and then record, it's recording on top of what already is there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know what that plus was for. So that makes sense.
Yep. And
That
then I never really click this button, but it's just like for automation to be recorded in. I never use this. I don't know what it is. I've probably used this in the past, but not that important. And then this is for recording in session view, which is this view. So if you wanted to record in this view, you click this session button. This is the loop button, kind of important if you want are just working on a certain section.
Yep,
So
I've
let's,
used that a lot.
yeah, that's pretty, or you can do Command L. It'll just loop that section. Good shortcut to know. And then this will, this is like a punch out. And so basically after the loop, it will keep playing out. I think you need to be recording though.
Punch out. Okay.
Okay. Well, it's not working. I don't really ever use that, but I'm sure we could figure it out. But basically, what I'm familiar with it is, or how I am familiar with what it does is it allows you to keep playing after the loop that you have selected.
Mm.
Okay, what else? So you have your first track, and if we wanted to get started with making a song, it kind of depends on, I mean, obviously, like what kind of song, what kind of genre. Some songs just start with like a drum loop. And actually, Ableton has some pretty great drum machines. So these are all kits. These are under this drum here. And you can select these kits and start to make some really cool drum loops. And you could even use your MIDI keyboard to program in some drums. So let's find a good one. I like this one. This is good for like hip hop.
Mhm.
So yeah, go ahead and just start playing on your piano. So right now you're playing too high of an octave up because, and I can see that because the notes when you play right now are showing up here. Oh, now they're showing up. Yeah.
Oh, I have the octave lower button on my MIDI.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's perfect.
Good.
Yeah. So there you have a whole drum kit. You could make like a hip hop beat in minutes. So let's just do that. I like to mess around with this grid a lot to just so I know like what we're working with. I usually select between these and then I go to narrow, and this will like change as you scroll in. If you just have one of these fixed positions on, it won't change. So this narrow is
Clicking in here.
pretty helpful. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm going to Command Shift M, add a new MIDI, and now you can see your drums are here. So we could like start just placing things. And so to draw in here, you're gonna press, I don't know, I don't actually know where I just press B. I don't know where, oh, the selector tool is up here. But I just press B on your keyboard.
You as in Victor.
Yeah. Right,
Ooh.
so there's your hi-hat. And we'll just do like the simplest beat ever, like a two-step.
Show it on the MIDI bar up top. Did
What
you
was
have
that?
to you had to click on it? Oh no, it automatically populates up there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have a pretty simple beat already. Maybe I'll move this. And then another thing you can do is
Like
adjust the velocity. So very common technique is to adjust the velocity of your hi-hats. And you just do it with this velocity thing down here. And you can pull this up or down. So I'm just going to pull these over.
So what did increasing the velocity of a hi-hat do in the sound department like that?
Yeah, so that is going to humanize it. So right now, the hi-hat sounds very
Hmm, like
electronic
automated?
or like digital. And so adjusting the velocity will kind of give it like a human-like feel. And yeah, there's also a feature where you can, I mean, this is getting pretty technical. I don't know how deep you want to go on this.
It doesn't have to be. I guess I was just, it makes sense to hear that like it's for a reason that like it just makes it sound more human.
Yeah. So now we also have like slide and pressure. Those are different types of like parameters that can change the sound, but velocity, I think, is going to be the most important.
So velocity again, is that like a common tool you use to adjust all your sounds using it?
So I would say yes, because
Mhm.
I work in MIDI a lot. We'll get into like sampling later on, but yeah, since I work in MIDI, I would say it's kind of common. And if you don't adjust it, it's going to sound way too digital and way too electron or like way too robot-y.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there you got your first beat.
Using my MIDI for the first time.
Yeah. And
Okay.
now if you want, you can start to like play over this beat as well with all the different, you just have to make sure that this is selected.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Is
All
there
right.
anything on here that you're like, I have no idea what this is. Can you explain this to me? Because yeah.
Most likely so much, but already you just kind of opened up something that I think I need to play around with to make sure I remember what we just did. Because right now what's happening is in my head I'm like visualizing how how it is. I guess I wanted to ask you this. So say I have my guitar and I know this is like a different step, but like if I want to have my guitar playing transcribed into here, is that using my interface and then connecting that? as like a MIDI, I guess.
So that, yeah, that's not going to be MIDI. That is
Okay.
going to be a direct in. So you will use your interface, you plug it into your interface, and then
Mhm.
you'll record it. You'll create an audio track.
Mm. And then just record like you would like my vocals or something. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. So the track has to be armed.
mhm.
Usually you want to select in, or auto sometimes works as well. And then yeah, you just record it in. Yeah.
I haven't used these line outputs on my Focusrite. What are those for, like left and right?
Yeah, that would be for outputting to like speakers or monitors, studio monitors.
Oh, okay. When I have those. So
Yeah.
I can hear. Okay.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
But yeah, that's
Yeah, this is
I think that's enough to get you started. I'll this is recording, so I can send this to you as well. And then you can watch it over again if there was anything that you feel like I went too fast or just yeah, just need to watch again.
um how do you feel like what helps people make the most progress in lessons with you? Is it that like we already have something up that we're working on and we work with you live and learn from that? Or like what would you say? You were telling me that like it always helps that people review the materials beforehand. Is it like before each lesson? Is there certain materials like at what point should I be at? Let me go back to like your the class up here. You can still see my screen, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess like as I progress with you and the lessons, like what would you recommend? So like after today's lesson or before I do my next lesson with you, what should I have completed going through?
I would say just watch that first one, and if you are really excited, you can just go to the next one. Like the faster you get through those, the better. I would say the better it is for you.
You're talking about
But
these able in the Ableton section. Gotcha.
yeah, but also don't rush it too much. I would prefer that like you complete because there's like a call to action at the end where I just ask you to like practice it, and then I analyze like how you did, and if you like have a pretty good understanding, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's move to the next thing. And then if not, then I'd be like, okay, maybe let's try that again and see where maybe my instruction was lacking, or maybe you just didn't understand it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get through this lesson. Let's see if I need to. Okay.
But it's all there for a reason. The system it works, and I pretty much explain why we do everything in those training videos. So
Mhm.
yeah, once you get through those, it should be super helpful.
Okay.
So
Cool. Yeah.
sweet.